This is Chapter 7, Lecture number 4. It's a very quick one. We're going to be looking at polyatomic ions. Polyatomic ions are groups of atoms that are bound together that behave as a unit and carry a charge. So here's the table from our textbook. So we see we have the nitrate ion, and the nitrate ion has a formula of NO3 negative. So we have a nitrogen surrounded by 3 oxygen atoms, yet the whole thing has a charge of -1. So even though there's 3 oxygen atoms attached to the nitrogen, we think of it as one thing, which is going to be important when we start writing formulas that involve the polyatomic ions. In your periodic table, open up to Table E, and you will see this chart. This is the chart of polyatomic ions that we have to be able to work with for the Regents Chemistry class. So we see we have things like the carbonate ion, CO3 2-, a nitrate ion, NO3-. The polyatomic ions are considered to be part of ionic bonding naming. So we're still not naming subscripts. So far we have a simple ionic bond formula. We have the stock system, and now we're introducing the polyatomic ions. So have this chart open while we start doing the next set of problems. So if we scroll ahead, or change the page in the notes, we now have a word ternary. Ternary just means 3 elements. 3 different elements. 2 of the elements are in the form of a polyatomic ion from Table E, and usually, but not always, we change the ending now to an ite or an ate. If you see ite or ate, it's Table E, although some things on Table E have an ide ending, like hydroxide and cyanide. However, the formulas are written just like the binary ionic compounds. So the formula for calcium nitrate: calcium, you should be looking at your periodic table, has a +2 charge, and from Table E, nitrate has a -1 charge. So just like we did before, the charges have to add up to 0. So we have to double nitrate. Now the trick here is we have to double all of nitrate. So we put the NO3 in parentheses and then a subscript 2. Remember, charges do not carry over in the final answer. Aluminum, make sure you see why it's +3 from the periodic table. Now hydroxide has an ide ending, but in the Table E, it's OH negative, or -1. This time, we have to triple all of hydroxide. So in parentheses, and then a tripling of the hydroxide ion. If you do just this, you are wrong, because all you're doing is tripling the hydrogen. That's why we need the parentheses, to show that the O and the H are tripled together. Calcium is Ca2+, sulfite from Table E, SO3 2-, +2 and -2 add up to 0, so the formula is just CaSO3. Naming is slightly easier, because we just have to know the name of the ion that's involved. Mg is magnesium. We use Table E to find out what NO3, the nitrate ion, is, and is nitrate. So we don't name the subscripts. Strontium, which we could use table S to find. Hydroxide. And be careful of the last one. This is why this is going to be tough. It's lead sulfate. However, lead is a transition metal. It has more than one positive ion, so we have to say which ion we're using. Sulfate has a charge from table E of -2, and there's 2 of them. So if sulfate has a charge of -2 and there's 2 of them, then Pb has to be a charge of +4. So it's lead 4 sulfate. So if that one confused you, we can talk about it in class. Actually, that is it for today's lesson. So have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow in class.